Yep, y'all see it. This is not a gaming video. I'm changing this gaming page around to some talking videos to where I don't need to edit shit at all, and I can just get straight into it. And one of the main things that I really wanted to talk about today is gaming. Why am I talking about gaming? Because I'm not uploading games right now. And when you know what I like to do in my free time is play games. And no games nowadays feel like they're actually hitting as hard as the games back in the day. Now, obviously, niggas are gonna call me unk. There might be some young people seeing this. There might not be nobody seeing this. You know, motherfuckers probably out there on the hub beating they shit into oblivion right now. No lotion, dry gang over here. But, you know, everybody else might just be doing some whatever shit. Plus, I'm not a big YouTuber. Anyways, what I'm trying to get at is games don't hit as hard as they used to. Like I said, me being a 22-year-old, I've had experience playing the PlayStation 2, GameCube, Nintendo growing up and everything. And nowadays, it feels like everything is just PC or PlayStation related, and it's not as fun. So some examples. We'll go with single player and then we'll go with multiplayer games. Single player games, I feel like they don't have no type of longevity at all anymore, right? What I mean by that is, well, you should know what longevity means, but when you're playing the game and then you can come back to it months, weeks, years down the line and be like, this game still fucking slaps. I feel like nobody is doing that with any games that's coming out now. So for an example, a great game, a beautiful game that came out not too long ago, Black Myth Wukong. I feel like that game is a great single player game, but nobody is talking about it no more. I don't hear shit. It's a motherfucking ghost town. You could be, the whole world doesn't even have to say a word, and you wouldn't even hear a nigga breathing about Black Myth Wukong. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Whereas single player games back in the day, like Devil May Cry, amazing game, amazing franchise. Not talking about DMC 2. It holds up to this day. If you play the DMC HD collection, it's fire. Like one of my favorite games of all time is DMC 3. I think that game is what Moist Critical would say, a certified slapper. DMC 3 feels like something you can play, come back to it, and still have just as much fun as you did before, even if it was like years down the line or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The combat was fire. The soundtracks was fire. The characters, the story, fire. I could be glazing, I don't know, but still. Whereas other games, it doesn't really feel like there's anything too memorable. Like there's stuff that's memorable in the moment, but nothing like that outside of it. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Fuck it, I don't care. But another game, Sly Cooper. I feel like Sly Cooper is a gem that people know about. Or we won't even go with Sly Cooper. We'll go with Ratchet and Clank. A lot of people know about Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank, all the games used to be bangers back then. Regular Ratchet and Clank, Up Your Arsenal, Ratchet Deadlock. And Ratchet Deadlock was an actual game that you could play with multiplayer with your friends, right? And it was super duper fun. There's a ton of things that you could do. Great characters, great story, great combat, all that shit. Whereas now they made a new Ratchet and Clank game and it's just crickets. It's okay. It's not bad, but it's definitely not the best thing. And I guess nowadays it feels kind of worse because what games take longer to make. Whereas back then we kind of got them like every other year and it was just bangers. It was fucking bangers. I actually made a list in my notes that I want to bring up points that I want to talk about. So one of the games specifically, we'll go into multiplayer now because I'm just, rambling, which is the point of this channel. One of the multiplayer games that I feel like just flat out has no soul left to it no more is Call of Duty. I feel like Call of Duty is nothing but a fucking cash grab to all the hardcore fans out there. Niggas get on Call of Duty to do the same exact goddamn task. Like Call of Duty right now is having sex with like no more fun. And, it's saying it's just like, all right, we're getting on all fours. Come on, turn over. Yep, I'm putting my dick in your ass. I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna moan out. Yeah, the dick feels so good. Yeah, whatever, bitch. It's like not switching it up. You know what I'm saying? Throwing some foreplay. You know what I'm saying? Like, do a motherfucking handstand, backflip, land on my dick in the splits position. That would spice some shit up. And that's what I'm getting back to with the game. It feels like Call of Duty is not really spicing shit up. Call of Duty is doing the same shit over again, it has very, very similar weapons. It has stupid maps. And I feel like the game modes is cool, but it's just repetitive. It feels like nothing is really changing. And if they do make changes, they make them worse. Like they'll either nerf a gun to oblivion, or they'll make it the most busted OP shit of all time. Like in new games, in the new Call of Duty games, you can pretty much make a motherfucking SMG a fucking Goku blaster. You know what I'm saying? All the mods you can put on the game. And it's like, we don't really need that. That's kind of like a super big change that's not really too needed. You know what I'm saying? It's like when they do want to make changes, they do too much. But when they don't make changes, they just don't make changes and they just fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel fun no more. Call of Duty just feels like a big cash grab to hardcore COD fans. That's what, honestly, you have Warzone, which is cool, but Warzone is just like another battle royale. I feel like that's kind of a good thing to keep Call of Duty relevant now. But as far as like the new Black Ops games and whatever new Call of Duty games they want to make out, it's not really fun. Another multiplayer game that I feel like, well, me personally, I feel like I can't really talk about it too much, but again, I'm gonna talk about it. Fuck y'all, it's my channel. I'm talking about whatever on here. 2K. I feel like 2K is just the most simple shit ever, and somehow they make it worse and worse each year. So I don't really play 2K like that, but me being a nigga, I have a ton of friends that are also niggas. And by niggas, okay, well, I'm not like a street nigga or nothing. Let's calm down. Look at me. I'm a suburb, bro. I love anime. I love comic books. I'm a fucking nerd. Okay, I'm not no King Von ass nigga, but I got niggas as friends, and some of them, they're not as nerdy as me. And when that happens, they're usually into sports games like 2K, Madden, and all that shit. They play 2K and they say it's the worst shit ever now. It's the same shit ever. The shooting animations are getting slower and slower by the year. They're taking away good game modes. Like one of the game modes that I used to love playing with my friends. That was like one of the only reasons why I got on 2K. It was All-Star Team Up. If you guys don't know what All-Star Team Up is basically when you and your friends, it could be up to like 5 people on your team, and then 5 of your other friends, you're going against them, right? So it could be like 10 niggas in a party, and you can choose all-stars, like any NBA player from any era. You could choose Shaq, you could choose motherfucking Steph Curry, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, whatever. If they existed in the NBA, you can pick them. One of the best game modes and one of the most fun game modes. They took that shit out and they put it behind My Player. Niggas don't want to grind up on My Player. Imagine trying to play a game for fun with your friends, but you have to grind up for it. For a simple thing. All you want to do is just play the game with each other. You know what I'm saying? As regular NBA players. That's like imagine getting on Monster Hunter, right? Imagine getting on Monster Hunter and you have to level up your character to level 2 billion. Well, let's not go too far. Let's level them up to level 20 just to essentially play multiplayer. That shit would suck ass. You can't really just do it from the jump. Now, granted, you still do kind of have to grind on Monster Hunter just to fight the higher bosses, but that makes sense. You don't want to be a level 1 going against a level 900 with your level 1 friends as well. That is fucking stupid. So they put in smart grinding, where I feel like 2K doesn't really do that. And again, it's just, it gets boring and shit. They're implementing WNBA players now, so that's good. We love seeing the inclusion, but it's like, at the same time, no offense, I'm all for, I just smacked my fucking mic. Damn, that's me smacking my balls. An apology. Sorry, guys. But I love the WNBA. Well, I don't watch the WNBA. I'm in support of the WNBA, and I like the inclusion of them. But let's be honest, who the fuck, like hardcore 2K players, who is going in and playing as Angel Reese when you could just play as fucking Shaq and be a 10-foot tall nigga and body niggas in the paint? Nobody's playing as the WNBA players. Unfortunately, that's just how it is, right? So it feels like nothing, like I said, nothing is really hitting like that. the longevity. Oh my God. Did I even get into that? I don't know if I did, but if I didn't, we're going to get into it now. Games are so easily forgotten now. I feel like everything is just so forgotten. Nothing lasts. We'll bring it back to what's it called? DMC. DMC is a game. It just got a Netflix adaptation, which if you haven't watched it, I think you should watch it so you can experience, like, if it's mid, that should push you to play the games, which are fucking great. But yeah, the anime is kind of khaki mixed blacky wacky. But people still talk about DMC. In fact, it's like top 5 most selling Capcom games. And if you didn't know, Devil May Cry is the invention of hack and slash games, right? So Soulsborne's games, Lollipop Chainsaw, whatever hack and slash you want to think of, Ninja Gaiden, these games literally would not exist without fucking Devil May Cry. Bayonetta as well. The Bayonetta would not exist without Devil May Cry. So show y'all motherfucking props. But people still talk about the game. They even still talk about DMC 1. I'm not talking about DMC 5. They talk about DMC 1. They clown DMC 2. They still talk about DMC 3. One of the greatest fucking games literally ever to exist. That's not an opinion. That's like a fact. Like, niggas wholeheartedly believe that game is great. And people can come back to it. Nobody's really coming back to these new games. And it just doesn't really feel fun. You know what I'm saying? And another old game, I literally just thought about this on the top of my dome. Dragon Ball Z, Budokai Tenkaichi 3. We're not even going to get into the old, like, just Budokai games and Infinite World, how great those were. We're just going to just narrow down to Budokai Tenkaichi 3. That was an amazing game, which I feel like it was a super duper fun shit to play with your friends, right? And it didn't really feel as competitive because people, obviously, when you're fighting against your friends, you're going to compete. That's just human nature. You don't fight against your friends and be like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm betting money I'm gonna lose. Hell yeah, and I'm gonna have fun. Fuck no, nigga. You want to take that W. You know, you want to talk your shit too. Like, hey, bro, I'm about to pick Goku. I'm about to put this dick in your mouth. In fact, if you pick Vegeta, I'm gonna put my dick in your mouth metaphorically, and then I'm gonna take Bulma from you and put my dick in her mouth literally. You know what I'm saying? You want to talk that shit with your friends. And it was fun. Where nowadays, if you skip to Sparking Zero, you're not really having as much fun with it. Now, you might be thinking like, Jalen, why? It's a new game. It has better graphics, arguably, not really better music, but still better mechanics. And it feels better to play. It does. It feels smoother, all that shit. You're absolutely correct. However, it's some of the minor things in there. So what I want to break down, like in Sparking Zero, for one, the story mode is kind of ass. I'm gonna just be real. The story mode is dick. You can't really do a lot of shit. For some reason, Goku has all these paths in the story mode, right? He goes from the Dragon Ball, like original Dragon Ball Z saga, from Saiyan saga, all the way to the Tournament of Power. And there's so many what if stories. For some reason, Vegeta stops at the fucking Majin Buu saga. Why? This is the second most known nigga in Dragon Ball and one of the most iconic niggas in anime history. Why does he have a shorter story arc than Goku in here? Doesn't really make sense at all. I would understand if they had like Dragon Ball Goku in there, his story, and they threw it in there too. But Vegeta and like Vegeta doesn't really get introduced until Dragon Ball Z. What the fuck? Something just happened to my Windows app. Okay. Something just happened to I don't know what's happened to my Windows. Error popped up. What the fuck? Anyways, so yeah, it doesn't really make sense with the story, to be short. A lot of the cutscenes are just screenshots and there's no voice acting like that, really. You just read them shits off. And it's like, dude, this is a game in 2025. This is a game that niggas waited decades for, me included. I was playing BT3 and BT2 when I was a kid, but I got that shit on the PlayStation 2 and I got that shit on the Wii, right? And I was busting my brother's ass in it. I'm lying, that nigga was fucking me up, but I was still having a fun time, a beautiful time playing it. So much things you could do, and they don't really have that spirit in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, right? Another thing in there is customization. BT3, nigga, you could, I'm not gonna say you could drip your character out like Tekken, but you can change the color palettes, you can give them presets, you can change some of their outfits, you know what I'm saying? It just, you can mix up a lot of shit. You can get pretty creative. Sparking Zero, if you go to Sparking Zero, my nigga, the most creative shit you can do, an alternate costume, is literally them having tear. Like, this, I'm so serious. I'm so serious. One of Goku's alternative outfits is literally just like a tear on his sleeve. Nigga, that's not even a whole outfit. That's a fuck up. That's an error. The fuck you mean that outfit? Take this outfit out of the game. You know what I'm saying? That's ass. I can get that shit after I eat a key blast straight to my motherfucking dome piece. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? It's so bad. It's horrible why they did that. I don't know. And then, of course, multiplayer. I feel like nowadays we are in such a long or a horrible era of niggas that want to sweat their fucking asses off. Everybody wants to sweat their asses off, bro. And it doesn't feel fun. Now, I'm not saying, you could say like, oh, that's a skill issue. Nigga, get better. Yeah. But why the fuck am I trying to fight somebody that I'm trying to matchmake with someone that's part of my skill and they're playing like this? They're playing like a fucking pro, right? Matchmaking sucks nowadays. Damn, but that's not even the worst part. You got niggas that are cheesing the game out the ass nowadays, bro. Niggas are generally exploiting the game online, and it's just not fun. It's really not fun. The way that they were spamming shit, it's so much things, so much stuff you couldn't get out of back then when the game originally dropped, and it was just overall bad. And the main thing about Sparking Zero, it feels like it's just backshot simulator. That literally, that's it. If you get behind a nigga, you can do massive damage. But if you're in front of a nigga, you're probably not going to be doing that shit like that. Whereas in BT3, if you get behind someone, yeah, you can still do damage, but it won't really be like that much damage. And you can really get up in a nigga face and get active. And it doesn't really feel like that in Sparking Zero. So I can keep ripping onto this game forever. It's so much shit that they missed out on. This is supposed to be peak Dragon Ball, but they fucked up on it somehow. And yeah, I don't really know. And then I just want to end off with another game, Fortnite. One of the biggest games, or not even just Fortnite. I want to end off with a category. Games nowadays don't feel like they're made for fun and for people to enjoy. It feels like just like a content simulator nowadays. It feels like games are designed for people to play one or two times and never come back to again, right? So what I mean by this is a game that is designed like Lethal Company. Lethal Company is like it's a funny ass game to play with your friends, but after you play it a few times, you're not going to come back to it. It's short and simple. It's a game where you steal props, you take it back to the ship, you have a few laughs with your friends, and then after that you repeat and do the same shit over and over and over and over again. It's creative, yes, because nobody has really thought about that, but it dies out too quick. And there's no like, I don't know the word. I'm just going to call it a reoccurring factor. It's nothing to bring you back in for a long period of time, right? Lethal Company, there's like this game. I forgot what it was called, but Dada Doya played it. Shouts out to him because he's one of my favorite YouTubers. He played it, and it's like you go down to like this weird ass place with your friends. They're like a spaceship, and the goal is to literally record everything like it's a YouTube video and come back and see how viral you can get. And that's the game. You do that over and over and over again. And it's like, this is a game strictly for content creators. Like, this is something you make like a funny compilation to, you put that shit out, and then that's it. You don't touch that shit again. You don't. You literally don't. You don't, bruh. And it's just annoying. It's really annoying. I don't fucking like it. I don't like it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people that aren't even content creators, they really don't fucking like it. I'm a content creator and I don't fucking like it. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, I'm a commentary, YouTuber, but still, it just, it doesn't really make that much sense. So I just wanted to get on here and talk about gaming just not really hitting like that. I'm sorry, it's just not like that anymore. Am I being like an old nigga? 22 niggas want to call me unk. I don't understand how that makes me unk, but fuck y'all, nigga. I spread your asshole open with no baby oil. But yeah, that's pretty much my point. Gaming doesn't really hit the same no more. And hopefully they fix it. I think GTA 6 may be able to make it a turnaround, but we don't know. But yeah, that's it. Goodbye, niggas.